Oh, I forgot to... Okay, take two. I forgot to put butter in the tin. Oh my gosh. Today we're going to attempt something different. We are going to bake using the air fryer. Now what's different this time is that I have no baking pan. We will do a no pan baking challenge using the air fryer. So if you have an air fryer at home, you would know that if you want to bake using an air fryer, you may need a pan that would specifically fit the diameter of your air fryer. I actually have pans that would fit the air fryer, but I don't want to use them because I don't want to decrease the diameter of whatever it is that I'm going to make today. I want to maximize the diameter of my air fryer. So instead, I'm thinking of not using any pan and just using the air fryer basket itself. But to be able to do that, I have to line it with something. So for today, as you can see, I lined it with aluminum foil. I actually thought about this a lot. I thought of using parchment paper or baking paper, but I figured that the aluminum foil would be the best choice because it would really fit the basket. So unlike the baking paper, the aluminum foil would actually mold into whatever it is that I want it to be. So hopefully this is a good idea. This is not a disaster. So we will find out together. So let's start baking. So for today, I'm actually making one of my favorites. It's the Chocolate Revel Bars. It's actually very simple. I don't know why people think that it's a difficult recipe, but it's actually one of the simplest recipes you can make. It's one of the few recipes that I started with when I started baking, but this will be the first time that I will do this in the air fryer. So we'll see if it will be as good as it is in the conventional oven. For the cookie base, it's actually very simple. You just need brown sugar, flour, some oatmeal. For the oatmeal, I soaked it in a little condensed milk just to make sure that it's a little bit hydrated. I also have some butter and eggs and vanilla. So let's start baking. So first I have the brown sugar in a really big bowl. And then to the brown sugar, I will add 1 stick of butter or 1/2 cup of butter. So just cream the butter and the sugar. Woo! Now I'll add 1 egg to this mixture. As you can see, I'm taking care of all the wet ingredients first, and then I'll add all the dry ingredients later. Now I will add 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract. For the vanilla extract, I will just eyeball it. You can now gradually add your dry ingredients. So as I mentioned earlier, the oatmeal, I already soaked this in condensed milk. And trust me, this really makes a big difference. Compared to a recipe without condensed milk, this will be fudgier and yummier. So try this one. So I'm adding like half of the oatmeal mixture and then half of the flour mixture. The flour mixture that I have already has salt and baking powder. So again, all your dry ingredients, you already mix it, and then all your wet ingredients, you mix it. Now I'll add the rest of my oatmeal. I love Revel Bars more than chocolate chip cookie bars, mainly because the chocolate and the cookie are equally distributed. Unlike a chocolate chip cookie, sometimes you get a chocolate chip and sometimes you get a cookie. So I love this because it's more equal. We're all for equality, right? So I think we're good with our cookie base. Now we will focus on our chocolate topping that goes on top of this. So it's actually super simple. Most recipes will tell you to use a double boiler, but I want to make it as simple as possible. So instead, I just microwave the cream and I'm just adding chocolate chips to the cream. Most of the recipes online would tell you to use condensed milk plus chocolate chips plus butter, but I don't like the sweetness of condensed milk because in the past, I've noticed that for me, it's too sweet. So I don't want to use condensed milk. Instead, I'm using cream. In case you have unsweetened condensed milk in your country, go ahead and go and do that. But we don't have that here in the Philippines, so I'm just using cream. So to that, I'm adding 1 cup of chocolate chips. Then I will just let it sit in the cream for a couple of minutes. Don't be tempted to mix this because the chocolate won't melt. So for me, I'll just let it sit for a while. And then if I notice that the chocolate chips are melting, I would then mix it. While waiting for the chocolate to melt in the cream, I will also add 1 tablespoon of butter. So there. So it also will melt in the cream, and it would be a perfect recipe for the ganache topping for our Revel bars. So guys, I'm mixing the chocolate and the cream now. I put it in the microwave for an additional 20 seconds because I couldn't wait any longer. Really want the chocolate to melt and the butter so that we could assemble this as fast as we could. So as you can see, it's really gooey, really runny. That's what we want. So now I have a really smooth chocolate sauce. Let's go and assemble our cookie bars. So as I mentioned, I already lined the air fryer with aluminum foil. It's actually a very simple job. So make sure that you get 3/4 of your cookie batter and then save 1/4 for the topping. The topping is really important because that's what will make your Revel bars. It will show that chocolate goodness underneath. So you need to save some for your topping. There. So I will remove the basket. And then I will simply... Oh, I forgot to... Okay, take 2. I forgot to put butter in the tin. Oh my gosh. Now that I've completely buttered the pan, I could now put the cookie in the pan. So again, I'm just putting 3/4 of the mixture. So honestly, I don't want it to be like a super thick bar because I still want that crunch or crispiness from a cookie. So I don't want it to be like an inch thick. And since I put baking powder, this would still rise a bit. So just be mindful of that. So that is my cookie base in the air fryer. I know that this will turn out good. I'm positive. Anyway, so now let's put the chocolate sauce. So again, the chocolate sauce goes on top of the first cookie layer. I'm not sure if I would put all. I will just eyeball first and see if there's room for everything. So I'm done with my chocolate layer. Now, with the remaining cookie batter, I will use my hands to put some more dough on top of the chocolate layer. So this is what's going to make the Revel bars. So it's up to you what pattern you want to make. You could make stripes, you could make random patterns, you could make the world, literally the world, but I won't do that because that would take so much time. I would just put it in my mouth anyway. So you just make random patterns. So you just grab a dough and then you just put it randomly. So you could put it there. So you just grab another piece of dough and then you just put it in random places. But basically, what will happen is all the remaining 1/4 mixture of your dough will be your topping. And then once this bakes, it will show up. So it will be like islands and the chocolate will be the water. It's so pretty. That's why I love this. So I'll just continue working on this dough and then I'll show you later when I'm done. So I may have to bake this without preheating it. So I hope that it would still turn out great. If not, then I would still eat it just so that it doesn't go to waste. So now let's put it in the air fryer. As for the cooking temperature, the recipe says 175, but since we are using an air fryer, we may have to reduce it to 170. And then I'm using the maximum amount of time for my air fryer, which is 30 minutes. Then I will check later, like at 25 minutes. So there's the air fryer. We're done baking it. So now I'm just going to take it out and then we're going to cool it. So here are the Revel Bars out of the air fryer. It's a bit browner than what I want it to be, but I know that because the air fryer cooks from the top, it's really natural that the top layer would be browner than the bottom layer. So I had my doubts if the bottom is completely cooked. And now I have the perfect Revel Bars. So here you go. Look how fudgy that is. They're a little blonder than I want. I noticed that the top layer is really golden brown, really beautiful, but the bottom layer did not brown as much. And I noticed that they're also thicker than what I want them to be, but the chocolate layer is also super thick, so it makes up for the thickness of the cookie. I'm so excited to taste it. So let's taste it! As expected, the bottom part isn't as crunchy. However, the top part is really crunchy. So I get a mix of gooey from the chocolate, crunchy from the crunchy top layer, and moist from the bottom layer. So it's kind of a mix of everything. Let me try it again. Oh my gosh, look how thick that layer is. Oh my god, it's so gooey. Love the chocolate layer. It's not sweet at all because I didn't use sweetened condensed milk for that layer. Most of the sweetness comes from the cookie itself, which I like better. So there you have it, Revel Bars in the air fryer. If I could do it, you could do it too. As usual, the ingredient list to this recipe is in the description box below, so please go ahead and check it out. Share with your family and friends. Please follow me on all my socials, Instagram at TotallyAlvin, TikTok at TotallyAlvin, and Facebook.com/TotallyAlvin. See you again next week. Bye! As usual, don't